What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting Anchor on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download Anchor, the app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I'm a veteran, so let's hear some more military cadences. Happy Friday, children of the corn. I am so happy it's Friday. You guys just don't even understand. Absolutely over it. So, the lunch lady. Have you guys heard of this lady in Connecticut who turned herself in on February 20th? She was released on $100,000 bond. She was sexting a child, or a teenager. I mean, she's 31. He was a child. And sending him pictures on Snapchat and all that stuff. And she picked him up from a party and sexually assaulted him. His dad ended up finding out, and one of the girls that go to the school as well, she's also married. The school was kind of coming under fire because they had a previous situation with her where they said, after determination, we revealed it. It wasn't so bad what she had did prior. So this isn't her first run-in with. She's got a thing. She's a lunch lady that has a thing for kids, which is crazy. Like I said, she's out on $100,000 bond. I'm like, how much money is this lunch lady making? Very interesting. The Gulf Cartel apologizes and turns over the 5 members tied to the Americans' deadly kidnapping. So the cartel wants nothing to do with these people. DeSantis has privately acknowledged he will run for president in 2024, which is not shocking. Pete Davidson is looking for. He crashed into somebody's house, which is wild. I don't know what kind of drugs he was on. Even allegedly, because how do you crash into somebody's house? But whatever, I'll say allegedly. Why not? Robert Blake, the actor once accused of murdering his wife, has died at 89. Yeah. Kaepernick is accusing his white adoptive parents of problematic upbringing, perpetuating racism. He kind of talks about this on his little documentary that he had on Netflix, just kind of like they weren't the best at dealing with racism and they were problematic, which they were ill-equipped to raise a black child, really. Let's see what else we got going on. So, Julia Fox, her dad and her brother were like charged. They were in on a ghost gun. They were a part of a ghost gun sting, and in the sting, they found Julia Fox's brother Christopher Cox and the dad they were charged. Him and his father, they had found ghost guns, evidence of narcotics manufacturing in their Upper East Side apartment during the early morning sweep. According to law enforcement sources, authorities seem to focus on the son who had the items in his room. So I don't know what he was up to. He had like things to make, they said, like, dangerous weapons, drug paraphernalia, a manufacturer of a machine gun, because they had like 3D printers. He was kind of a mad scientist, they were saying. He had polymer material, unidentified pills, a pill press, pressure cookers, fentanyl, chloroform, heroin, propane, formaldehyde, and other materials used to make explosives. So, don't know what kind of stuff they were into in that apartment, but looks like the police made a good bust with that, because these guys really don't know what they were up to for real. Let's see what else. North is hanging out with Kanye and his new wife. Not shocking. North is like with everybody. She's with Pete Davidson one week. This girl one day is going to write a really interesting tell-all one day. There's all kind of little news going on, but it's Friday. I think we're just going to get right into some. Today we're going to do Ask Women. We did men yesterday. Let's see women. Women who stopped having sex with your partner during a relationship. What was the reasoning? She said he stopped engaging in any kind of non-sexual physical intimacy. Want to cut on the couch? Time to get groped. Need a hug after a long day? I must be looking for a good... It was a big turn off. Yeah, lack of emotional connection, a lot of people were saying. She said this one lady said this happened with both of her exes. The first one, we were young, and I believe he would be different nowadays. We were friends 7 years later. My most recent ex was some other twist. If I wasn't interested in sex but still wanted to cuddle, he would angrily sulk and withhold even hugs. His hygiene was pretty yucky. Sex was all about him, absolute tunnel vision for his own pleasure. He stopped taking care of himself in a lot of ways, was making poor decisions, was generally withholding in regards to emotional intimacy. Then the man had that audacity to complain that I didn't want to have sex with him, even though I was pretty communicative about the above issues. Yeah, if a dude's not showering, this is not good. Yeah, everybody's pretty much talking about platonic affection. This is interesting. What experiences have you ladies had with a partner refusing to go down on you? None. If that's a boundary for them, then that's fine, but we're simply incompatible and I'm moving on. It was very one-sided. I always went down without being asked. He never initiated, and if I asked, he would begrudgingly do so. Sometimes, no, we couldn't get past it because it was just another indicator of his selfish personality. I broke up with him after 2 years and didn't realize how lazy he was sexually until I started dating casually. In one 5 years, he went down on me. Oh, so once in 5 years, he went down on me. And it was only after I broke down and told him how gross and horrible I feel because he never even touches me there with anything other than his penis. He assured me that that's not the case, but didn't change. I thought it was lack of confidence and offer help, but he just said he does not need help. He always remembered to tell me how important my pleasure is and acted like he gave me the moon and stars despite never even touching me, despite sex always ending with when he came. I tried to communicate, but eventually gave up because nothing changed. He said he wasn't selfish. I believed him. He probably did too. In reality, he was selfish in so many different ways. He left me when I started to demand he grow up and treat me like a proper partner, keep his promises, and carry himself in the relationship. 5 years, girl. Yeah, you should have been gone. That was too long. This girl said, I dated a guy for 4 years who would give me the 30 seconds of some half-ass oral every few months and act like he was the God's gift to women. He made me feel like it was selfish to me to want it, yet he never thought it was selfish of him. He wanted head every single time we were together, no exceptions. I really internalized that I was selfish for wanting pleasure, and I haven't never felt comfortable letting anyone go down on me. My current boyfriend definitely wants to, but I have to let him do it yet. I have not let him do it yet because it feels shameful. Girl, if you don't let that man, if you don't listen, men love this. Most men love this, so this is shocking to me. I did have a girlfriend who her husband was like really bad at it. Like he never could get the spot. Even if she left candy for him and she'd move her body all around, he just never. Some dudes are terribly bad at it, which is so unfortunate. But yeah, why can't anything always line up? It's either they're really good at that and terrible at something else, or it's never the mecca. And then if it is the mecca, they're probably a terrible man. It's just, this is life, man. Let's see. This is exactly the situation I was in to a T. It made me so hypercritical of how my vulva looked that even today I just can't look at myself for anything other than what's necessary for shaving. It makes me insane, uncomfortable. Now my current partner doesn't do it either, but isn't as mean as my ex was about it. That's just one thing I've kind of accepted I'll never be able to heal. So what are they saying? It was ugly? Interesting. My ex and I were together for 4 years. He made me feel like oral for women was disgusting, and I hated my own body for a while. Before him, I enjoyed oral, and it took me months and a ton of alcohol before I let my current boyfriend go down on me. I now enjoy it, but it wasn't easy for the first few times. I've now loosened up. Y'all are ladies is struggling out here. No, ma'am. What was the final nail in the coffin that ended your marriage? These are long. Coming back from a month's separation and feeling like I just taken a weight back onto my shoulders. No feeling of being glad. I was back, glad to see him ready to work on us. I realized how miserable I was in my last relationship when I was on vacation with friends and actually cried when I had to go home. I stayed for another year until I got the courage to end it. Yeah, when you get that feeling where you just don't even want to go back to your house, that's kind of like you need to break up. When you have like those exhausting relationships, and we've all been there where it's just like, I've been there before where I dreaded going to my house. That's when I knew it was time. Pretending to be sick when my mother died so he didn't have to come for me. It wasn't the final nail, but it was the biggest nail. I tried to get past it, but I couldn't. Following on from that, it was getting angry with me when I nearly drowned and being the person not to check if I was okay. And yeah. I had a close relative die. My ex-boyfriend did the same. I had to fly transatlantic, and I mentioned I needed a cat sitter. He was like, I can do one day. He has a home office job. He could have, even flown with me. Kind of like that. If they wanted to, they would advise. Somebody said he said the N-word one too many times. We had lots of fights over it. I told him 1,000 times that he was not to stand in front of me or the kids. He got in the car. Beyonce was on. He told me to turn that N stuff off, and I yelled at him. He told me he wanted to find someone who shared his values, and I invited him to go find someone then. I didn't think he would, but he did. Yay, he tried to come back 2 weeks later, but I had enough of his abusive, racist, lying, mofo BS. Somebody said they broke up with someone for the same reason. Man, y'all dating a lot of racists out here. 3 months away from my wedding, he broke up with me on the day of my grandfather's funeral to avoid being with me through my grief. then tried to get back with me the next day. It was over for me right then. That is hilarious. I mean, it's kind of funny. He threw a tantrum because my BFF wanted to will me something expensive, and I dared her say yes to it instead of discussing with him. She was my BFF for around 30 years and in hospice at the time. Yeah, he's kind of a baby. That's interesting. Some of you guys are crazy. Crazy Chrissy. Let's see, what else do we got here? Some of you guys are total weirdos on this app. Some of this is too much. Somebody is suing Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez for blocking him on Twitter. Interesting. Some weird stuff on here, I promise y'all. I did not realize how weird this thing is. I think, you know what, it's Friday. I think we need to go out on a high note. Because some of these stories are just too crazy. I can't anymore. I can't do it. I think we're going to go out on a high note. Because, yeah, some of this stuff is just too wild. But, other than that, you guys have an amazing, great weekend. Get some rest. I'm gonna try to get some rest. Like I said, kind of got a full weekend today. I had a very busy day, but I pushed this out, and this is gonna be super short. It's only 15 minutes because I am tired, but it's all good. I still wanted to touch base with y'all. Hopefully you guys chuckled a little bit. Yeah, there was a thing about asking men if they would have sex with a woman on her period, and the guy said, why have a sword if you can't get it bloodied? Another guy said, if you like to smell pennies in the air. Yeah, that one was all over the place. Yeah, that's why I gave you guys some ass women, because these dudes, they're funny. You guys have a great weekend. F is for Family is signing off.